All right, hey everyone. I'm here coming to you on YouTube with my first live coding office hours session, which is in itself kind of a lie because I don't know how much actual coding I'm going to do here. The work of getting an open source project, keeping it running, is more boring than you might think. So, like, not a lot of always exciting code problems to solve. In fact, today I've got to work a little bit on making sure that we've got specific times laid out for all the various PTG items. So I'm working right now to get those items going, and hopefully be able to get going. Let me just tweet out that I'm here. I'm now doing my office hours at youtube.com/jofdoom for the next 30 minutes to 90 minutes. All right. And if you're here and you're listening along, feel free to put a comment in the chat. I've got my comments up over here. I'll be watching. If you're an OpenStack contributor, I also have my OpenStack IRC open over here and ready to respond if you've got any questions or anything you want to chat about while I'm going on. So basically what I'm doing right now is getting the setups that we've got. The schedule's already at ptg.opendev.org/ptg.html. Here, I'll drag this over here. I actually should probably have both of these windows on the same monitor anyway. And we are going to look at this, and you'll see, like, for Monday we have I'm gonna put a down here. We'll say Monday at 1400 UTC in Bexar. Right there. In Nova placement schedule, we're gonna have, make this a real bullet. Bullets don't always work so well in Etherpad, but hopefully will. We're gonna be talking about resolving issues with Nova ironic driver experience. Then the next ironic session is Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday we've got from 1400 U to 1700 U in Grizzly. Planning and priorities is going to be about from there without scheduled. And basically, I mean, I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm going down the list. I'm going to see what fits where. If I end up with not enough slots full, if I end up with not enough slots, then we'll have to decide how much time we have to do each of these things. I mean, this isn't rocket science, but it's something that's got to be done. And apparently it was supposed to be done a couple weeks ago, but I didn't know about that. But that happens. Everyone's just doing the best that they can. I guess I should think about breaks here, but I'm going to put a comment up here and I'll say breaks will be taken as needed. Please speak up ASAP if any of these topics are a conflict for you. So basically, I gotta get the schedule written out. I gotta put it all in an email to the list that all the ironic folks have it in one place. then we'll go from there. That'll be fun. Oh, well, refresh. Oh, that's terrible. It refreshed and it changed my day. Oh, that's miserable. Okay, it's fine though. It'll be better for when it actually happens that it works that way, even if it's annoying right now. Future of GUI. 1530 to like 15 UTC. That should be fairly quick. I mean, hey, if you're a person who you think Ironic needs the GUI that's not Horizon, we've got Ironic UI. It's not being maintained right now. And quite frankly, we've had folks volunteer to maintain it and then sort of fall off the map. So I would be happy to have you here if you're a person who loves working on UI and you want to work on one for Ironic. Then that needs love, care, and feeding, some CI, and I think it's well behind in terms of actual support. Is my audio coming through? Oh, I got an error from my audio coming through. Oh, there it is. Okay, good stuff. I was just making sure. I got an error from YouTube about it being unhappy about the audio. This is the first time doing this. I did some game streaming and ended up with the pretty unfortunate situation of streaming out silence for a really long time. So I'm a little bit nervous about doing that here. Trying my best not to not to stream silence to the world. So future of Ironic GUI, let's see. All right, scale up, scale down, which is 1 hour, leaning toward later. That's gonna be a tough one to remove MD5 compatibility. I'm gonna trim that down so that it fits. So Wednesday at 1300 GTC, 6 a.m. here. It's not too bad for me. Is bare metal operator hour, bare metal sig. This probably has find Etherpad link. I know there was an Etherpad link that was posted somewhere, like maybe on the list, where it had a bunch of the operator hour stuff in it. So let's see. I gotta find that mail in the mailing list. You'll excuse me if I don't share this part of it. Who knows what's in my email? Don't want to subject any of y'all to that. But I believe there's some operator hour Etherpad links in here. Let's see. Operator Etherpad, maybe. The one for Tasker. Maybe there's one. I know it exists because it's been linked to me. There we go. This is so then okay, this is it's Wednesday. We have 1400 to 1600 GT again. And let's see what topics are still up for bat. Let's get a list of all the things. that still need to be scheduled if they have any limitations. That might be easy scrolling up and down. Um, oh, did those have times laid out? Um, this is official requirement. Oh, later. I have no idea what that means. Okay, that's problems. No one's gonna know what that means, but that's fine. I rarely know what's going on. Figure it out. Cleaning up raid created by tenant. 30 to 45 minutes early. Merging inspector into a chronic. Let's place early. The redfish caching is likely pumped from PTG altogether, so we'll do that if there's room, but I'm skeptical there will be. So okay, let's see. 1600. So I've got, oh man, so active steps maybe needs to move back. Oh, that's right. We have an evening session on one of these, don't we? That's right. That's the reason it feels like I don't have enough time. Yeah, 2200 UTC on Wednesday. I think this is going to need to be active step. I'm going to give that 30 minutes. Active steps. We have a couple other things I said. I don't really know what that means. Does it mean like early in the day or early in the session? I don't actually know. Um, these two need to be early. This can move to some other time. Let's put this like closer to the end. Actually, I think I like moving this to here. Because quite frankly, I think these are the ones that are most likely to be. That opens up another half hour here to put something else in. Um, This is in now. This is in. I need to give it a time here. Let's 30. I've still got an hour here. This is 14. Okay, so there's another hour here as well. Okay, that's good because I think we need it. I'm gonna bump all this up. We'll make this 1430, 1445, and this will be 1445, 1500, and then we can do like ironic vision. We'll say that there to there. Well, let's make it 30, because then I can do the open infra lab, 1500 to 30 UTC. That's full. So now I've got this booked, got this booked. I'm gonna put it here. Don't know if this is what people wanted or not. I'm gonna make sure to specifically call this one out. Cleaning raid provided by cleaning raid created by tenants there. Oh, active steps was there. I'll also put this here. So we placed everything. Let's check. Reflecting on planning and priorities is planned. Handling the bug backlog is planned. Feature of GUI, planned. Scale up, scale down is the one that I am missing. Got it. That needs to be here instead of this. Okay, that makes sense. 14. Well, oh, it's still in both places. I can definitely do that. Okay, so that was scale up, scale down. It'll be good to have that one then, too, because I think be interesting conversation. I'm actually really looking for this. I think this is super underrated because there's so many things we can do to make the experience better for people who are operating ironic, like so much, like our failure case stories and our high availability stories around the Nova driver interface, which is planned to be talked about, but also just in general the ability to take a conductor down while it's doing something is just, it doesn't work well. And so like we're going to talk about this at the PTG, but I've always like mentally modeled this as something where we'll have to take a load balancer type of approach of like a drain fail, where we can say don't give this conductor any additional work and somehow figure that out. As far as how that actually works in practice, I don't really know. I think periodic tasks can make it a little bit confusing potentially to implement that, but that's why we have the PCG, figure out these problems and answers. But it's exciting because I know that was often the barrier to doing a completely non-disruptive upgrade, depending on what combination of features you use in some of the environments. Okay, scale up, scale down, remove MD5. We have an operator session. We have open infra labs. We have vision. We have active steps. We have cleaning up raid. We have merging inspector. We have redfish. No, we don't have redfish caching because this was punted. I think I have a tentative schedule. And I will ask what folks think of this in IRC. So I've got the IRC. I'm in a whole bunch of IRC channels in the world, but this is the one that matters. Put up a tentative here. Please let me know if any of the times are uncomfortably late, early, or overlapping for anyone. I will try to accommodate. Sorry this didn't happen sooner. Legit didn't realize it was something I literally. And so that's also something I need to hit the list with. But I'll at least wait for one person to sanity check it. So hopefully she can help take a look and we can figure that out. But yeah, so PTG planning. All right, so let's go to the Etherpad. I organize my work generally with an upstream Etherpad. It just makes it easier for me because I can access it anywhere. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So I haven't put anything in my list today. That is really crappy because I've done a lot today actually already. So we had the TC meeting, met with downstream OpenStack Ops team. That was actually information gathering for the Nova Compute session because like we were talking a little bit about the pain that that causes in real life for them. The Nova Compute services right now, due to the lack of HA in kind of the model, if you provisioned a machine using Nova that's backed by Ironic, you sort of create a sticky relationship between that Nova Compute and the instance, even though realistically one doesn't need to exist. Really, any conductor that has access to Ironic API can manage that server, but due to limitations in the model, it doesn't work that way. So if you have, a Nova Compute that's managing 100 instances backed by Ironic, and that Nova Compute goes down, you can't stop those instances. You can't delete them. You can't do anything management wise from the Nova side on them. Is a really bad experience, quite frankly. And so, like our downstream team, as a good security practice, does a full clean wipe of machines at least every 90 days. And so that means that out of the gate, they're signing up for either the extra work of having to spin up, use extra hardware to get a second Nova Compute working alongside and do a cutover, which is not a trivial amount of operational work, or they're basically signing up for at least 4 outages a year because when they take that Nova Compute down, they're not going to be able to manage those servers anymore. And like, I just think that's a bad story. I don't know. I sort of grew up in an ops land, so not not having the tools for operators to keep their clusters highly available honestly really makes me sad. Um, but instead of just being sad about it, hopefully we're going to do something to fix it. So we'll see. CC meeting today this morning was good. I can put down this live coding. And then we just did PTG scheduling. So actually, speaking of more CI work, that's actually where I was going to take us next. So one of the things that you sort of run into, and I knew this coming in, but I just didn't necessarily know the scope of it at first, is when you're PTL of a project, you're basically taking on all of the else work. So if something must be done, and no one wants to volunteer to do it, it either doesn't get done or the PTL doesn't. Which is perfectly fine. I volunteered for this. I don't want that to come across in any way, shape, or form as a complaint. It's just the way it goes. Let's and a lot of that often involves CI. And I was actually explaining this to someone earlier today that like it doesn't necessarily mean if CI is breaking that someone's put like a bad patch in or something. This is just we rely on a lot of tools that evolve. We rely on the overall OpenStack testing infrastructure, which often requires migrations be done. We rely on upstream cloud images of us. Like I know that we had a CI breakage in one of our branches caused by the CentOS stream cloud image getting large. And so this is sort of environmental stuff that's churning around us, but we got to keep the CI working. So what happens sometimes is you get a change like this, where you now have to migrate something in one of these branches that, may or may not be passing changes. In this case, it's about as simple as it gets. You've got this Q flag, which Zool deprecated and no longer supports. And for ironic, we're currently showing up in failure reports for Zool because literally the new version of Zool can't understand this config. It sees the key Q and it bails out. So this is something we either have to fix it or we have to retire the branch. Now, in some of these cases, I'm retiring the branch. I've done all the work, done all the notifications to retire the Queen, Rocky, and Stein branches for Ironic and Ironic associated projects, but this is Victoria. There are lots of people running Victoria. We got to keep support for that up so that we can backport fixes to it. And so that means we got to figure out why the test failed. And guess what? You get to help me figure out why the test failed right now. So let's have a look. Okay. So in this case, I'm looking at the results here in Zool. The nice thing is that all of the tox tests and the requirements check are passing. So what's broken is all of the actual integration tests. But the fact that all of them are broken can actually be a really good sign here, because it may mean that there's something simple or something misconfigured that needs to happen in order to make these pass. So let's take a look and see what's going on with this one. So exit 1, table B route is incompatible. Use NFT tool. Okay. That seems environmental. So often what I do when troubleshooting this, and this isn't real troubleshooting, this is more like pattern matching, is I'm looking at this is the Victoria branch, and it's ironic lib. So like, to a certain extent, there should be so I'm gonna go look and see. Let's look at other branches of this. Like if I look at ironic lib in a more modern branch like Zed, then we're gonna look and see what changes were made to make this work every time. So we've got tox constraints file. Said those are updated. That's almost certainly not the case here because it's failing. So don't know. I remember this though. That's the thing that's killing me, is I definitely remember. Good old Google. Let's just toss it into Google. Oh, hey, look. It's a launchpad bug. Oh, that's right. This is only a bug that happens when it's bailing out due to something else. So if I look further up here, I'll find a real failure. That's what it is. Because they had this tool that would basically dump all information on the host, including like in what's all in a table on failures. But in this case, I got to see the actual reason it failed, because who cares that the failure upload thing didn't do exactly what we wanted. We want to figure out why it got to that failure spot in the first place. And that requires looking at the longest log files you've ever seen in your entire life. And my it's funny, I've been streaming here for like 30 minutes, but opening up this long log file in the browser is what made my computer go vroom here. Fans are going crazy. Like, this looks like it's failing in the actual setup. Oh, because these are all source jobs. Oh no. Okay. All right. This makes sense, but I'll explain to you why. So most of our ironic test jobs are using pre-built IPA RAM disks. So like we upload a RAM disk to tarballs.openstack.org after every successful commit to master, and those are the agents that are used when testing ironic. Now, because ironic lib is a library actually used in IPA, then that means that we have to build it from source in order for that to actually build. So these are source jobs. So what that means is that part of what this build has to do is part of what we have to do here is the build has to actually succeed, and the build here is failing for some reason. Actually, you know what would be a good insight for this? I looked at Ironic before, but I should look at Ironic Python agent, because Ironic Python agent also runs jobs. I'm assuming jobs pass on Victoria. We'll see. Well, QParam patch passed here, so certainly something fixed. So we're gonna have a look and see if there's anything that looks like it's CI related. Um, hey Jacob, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're doing well. Um, I'm trying to figure out right now. I've got the this ironic lib change in Victoria, and I'm trying to figure out um why it's failing. And looks like the IPA build itself is failing for some reason, but I'm not having a lot of success figuring out why. So I was just coming and taking a look at IPA directly to see if IPA has any sort of fix here in actual CI configuration that's helping things pass in Victoria that maybe I need to copy over to. And I mean, the answer to that appears to be very no. Actually, just looking at you there. 4/12, March 2021. This is job name. IPA Tempest Bios, IPA correct time here, and I look job that's failing. Not exactly the way I would. Is it like, do I have a case here where I need to pin more stuff when the jobs run here? Let's see. By the way, Jacob, if you need anything, if you want to ask a question or want me to look at review or something for you, let me know. I'm happy to I'm happy to context switch if you've got something particular going on. Chronic lib jobs. What that Nova error in devstack means. Um, I don't know particularly what you're talking about. I'm happy to hear. Got like a link or something, or if you're talking about something I said before, then like I honestly don't know. I've been sort of sitting here half mumbling to myself. Oh, there's a. Can you like drop me a link or something? On IRC's fine too. I don't have context on what you're talking about. I have the memory of a goldfish, so I'm sure it's something that we've talked about before, and I just not there. These are. I feel like there's stuff missing. Like I don't understand why we have to pin so hard in the other one in here, but then I would expect other ironic lib things to be angry too. So maybe I should look at like, I don't know, Wallaby ironic lib or something. This one has CI that's working clearly, but I look at it, nothing pinned in any of the jobs. Like, what the hell is it? Okay, I'm gonna do a bad thing. I'm gonna just see if failure is reproducible. Failures all occurred building RAM disk. There is very little output indicating why, and I want to see if it was just temporal. I sure as hell hope it was temporal. Not that like it's as much a bad thing as a good thing when a recheck fixes something, because like it means that there's something squirrely in the CI system. But like with stuff like this, sometimes you just got to do it. Like you don't always know why something works or doesn't work. I'm just pretty frustrated, pretty done with that stuff. Um this is an interesting one because it's like I don't know why it's not being picked up. It is a proper branch, isn't it? Oh, message. See all sorts of stuff on the moderator side of this I'm not used to. Okay. That is IPA, no, IPA 8.1 Wallaby base. I'm just gonna, because that's an old branch. I don't know why it's not working, so just kick it. It doesn't matter. I had a couple others of those in here too, where I've got like, I actually should do that right now because I've got Queens, Rocky, and Stein are all going to be retired. So if I have changes open in those, I need to just nuke them. Well, not these. These Nova changes are the required stuff to get done. Just that one Queens change that needs to go away here. So I'm at a crossroads here. I can keep looking at these, which is probably not interesting to watch, and it's just going to lead to more frustration. I can look at something. If you're still here, Jacob, and you want to paste a link or something, you can paste to me at OpenStack Ironic or in YouTube chat here. I can look at it and talk through it with you. The other option of something that has to be done is I got to take a look at actually the release PRs. So like I know for instance that we've got I've got up EOL Queens, EOL Stein. Did I not make a Rocky one? I thought I made a Rocky. Did I not make a Rocky one? I did make a Rocky. Okay. Okay. So these are all waiting for merge to get rid of those branches. That'll be a happy day. I have less stuff. So the other question was, oh, for the neutral. Oh, that was you. That's right. Okay, yeah. So let's is that like on a change? Like is that in Zool somewhere that I can go look at it? Or is that happening for you locally? Let's see. I can find you if I scroll up long enough. Maybe, probably not. If I scrolled too far. Okay. So, actually, I was about to say I don't have a dev stack that I can look at, but I might actually have a dev stack I can look at. How's the text in the console, by the way? Is that readable? I've just been sort of using my normal sizing for things and hoping it's been readable for everyone. Um, so now I think I can go. What is it? What is it? It's oh, what is it? It's the verse. That's what I want. Verse. I don't know the answer to that, honestly. I've not worked a lot with Inspector, but like Neutron does a lot of stuff. Like if you're running a dev stack in Neutron, if you're running a dev stack and you have Ironic Inspector and Neutron there, it's probably using Neutron for the the DHCP. So we'll take a look. This is in a gate. I don't have a live dev stack to look at up right now. I just don't. They don't always stay up. Living well. This is not the change I wanted. Let's look at better sets of jobs. It does. Okay. So we're gonna look at this Ironic Inspector Tempest. This is running inside a dev stack, even though like sort of the interface to it is CI-ish. So like the way you would check it in your dev stack is going to be a little different. I think these days dev stack runs all the services in system D. So you should be able to use journal cuddle to look at it. And if you do something like system cuddle list dash units and you grep for dev stack, you can maybe even get the specific you can maybe even get the specific my words are gone. I forgot what I was saying. But we're gonna look at this for now. So if you look at logs, that's it. If you do system cuddle list units, you grep out dev stack, you can see the specific unit, and then you can pass journal cuddle dash u that unit name and just get logs for that unit. That's going to be what you're going to want to do for Neutron. So here, in this case, like we're not looking at it live like you will on your system, but we can go into controller logs and we can see the same stuff here. And you see it's got all the various services. So let's have a look at, this is weird. This is historical. Neutron used to be called Quantum. So, or Quanta or something like that. I don't remember. It was even before my time. So all of the services in DevStack are named Q. So like in this case, if I'm saying, okay, you need to go look at logs for the Nova API, I'm talking about stuff like this. So this is the Neutron agent. Yeah, see Neutron Open vSwitch agent. You've got logs here for it. And other stuff. So this is sort of what you're going to see there. It's like Q service is probably the one that you'll end up looking at. Yeah, Neutron server. Yeah. So you're going to want to look for something like this, like the Q service. It's not going to be a text file because, like I said, it's in a text file here because this is CI stuff. But you should be able to do, like I said, like a system cuddle. You know what? Give me a second. If I glide over to my desktop, I'm pretty sure I can get my dev stack up immediately, and I can just show you this directly instead of having to play remembrance games. I've got a local VM over there on my desktop that's running dev stack, but quite bluntly, I'm not good enough with libvirt on the command line to spin it up. And so I use Virt Manager. I'm going to try again. Is it like domain list or something like that? It's been so long. Yeah, I don't know how to do this without having Virt Manager running, which is unfortunate. I'll get you. We'll get you your answer, Jacob. I promise. Okay. Playport. In here. Okay, good stuff. Yeah. Shut off. Powered on, please. This is what I want. Play. All right. I have it up. All right. You with me, Jacob? You with me here? I've got my dev stack up. We're going to take a look at your problem here. So, all right. Cool. This is what I was talking about before. If you do system cuddle list units and you scroll through here, you're going to see all these devstack services, right? This is actually like what devstack is running. These services, any of the ones that start with devstack and app, are created by devstack if you look at. So these are like the services we need to look at. And the nice thing is because it's in system D, you can use journal cuddle and you can limit it just by that. So when I said you probably need to look at your Neutron API logs, the way you do that in practice is like this. I'm going to go journal cuddle -u. -u just tells it limit it to a unit and pop that on it. And so now I'm going to hit Shift capital G, which is just generally unless takes you to the very end of the log. And you see I've got logs here. And now that's not useful because I don't have errors in my log to troubleshoot. But this is what you're looking for generally. You're going to look and try to find a timestamp that matches up with that 500 error. And you're going to go look and see why Neutron was angry about it. I have no idea why. And if you can find the reason Neutron was angry about it, then we can sort of go the next step to troubleshoot it. Honestly, given it's a 500 error, I suspect it's going to be something environmental or something crazy. I don't know. It can be a million things. But the goal is to kind of teach you how to fish. Like I don't necessarily need to solve your problem. I'm just trying to show you the way that I would troubleshoot it. So like, it's so much easier now. It used to be they would put everything in a giant screen, and like it was a good option for what we have, but it was not my favorite. So yeah, grab devstack add. I've got all that. What is memory tracker? That sounds neat. I want to go look at logs for that just because I don't know what it is. So now, Jacob, if you want to find the log, the relevant log, and like put it in a paste bin somewhere and then give me the paste bin link, we can look at that and keep going. Or you can just take this newfound knowledge and go places. This is pretty cool. So they just take snapshots of what RAM is doing. That makes sense. That's good stuff. I have not run my own devstack, and well, I mean, obviously run one so that I can have one here, but I don't. I tend to do most of my work fixing CI. So, is this helpful? Is there anything else you want me to show you while I got this going? Yeah, that's the thing that makes open, like, I always feel like troubleshooting OpenStack or specifically DevStack or the CI, it's sort of a baptism by fire in how to do DevOps troubleshooting because it really is a big complex system and it interacts in complex ways. And then kind of on top of that, you add the fact that you've got DevStack, which can support a lot of different OSs. In fact, one of the easiest ways to fail with DevStack is to use an OS that it doesn't support. And when I say that it doesn't support, I don't necessarily mean what like DevStack the project supports. I mean there have been times, for instance, when DevStack for Ironic was broken on some OSs that DevStack generally worked on. So, like my usual rule when I'm spinning up a DevStack for personal use. Yeah, exactly, exactly. The local comp just cross fingers. Come on, local.conf. Let's look. Let's see what mine looks like. Um, Isn't it here somewhere? In here. Yeah. This is what I'm using. Um, but I'll be perfectly honest, I've not done a lot with this dev stack. It's mainly something that I spun up to knock with. My plate's been pretty full with CI fixes and stuff like that, so I've not taken like a bite out of a big feature yet. But like, it sounds funny to say this, but like all of us are kind of stumbling through it a little bit, right? Like there's not a single person in the community who knows how every bit of it works. So you just try to develop strategies to deal with the variance and go from there. If you know how to read logs and how to just kind of trace the story, you'll eventually find what the problem is. Now, why the problem is happening is a whole different ball of wax. But identifying where the problem starts is the best path to get there. But I'm glad I was able to show you a thing or two. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that's actually gotten a lot better, but it depends on how you're building the RAM disk. Uh Inspector's not necessarily more well, Inspector seems more complicated because it's a separate service. But in reality, again, like it's about finding the pattern, right? Like both Ironic and Ironic Inspector are essentially doing the same thing, really. They're just taking nodes, they're booting them up, they're booting them into the Ironic Python agent, and then that agent is doing something, right? Yeah, I guess that's true for devstack deployment. What I would do if I were you, this is always a good place to start. Coming back to here, you know this is a working devstack right here in the Zool. You know it's working. So we can come here and let's go to see if we can find out what the actual configuration is for it here. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it's here. It probably is. Localconf.txt. And so you can look here and you can literally see the exact local.conf that's used in the gate. Now, it's smart, but it's not like 100% smart. Like, you also have to be aware that when we're running it in the gate, we might be more memory constrained or stuff than you might be. So if you've got more RAM, you might not want to just disable huge swaths of the API. But if you're talking about testing just an inspector feature, then using the gate config is a good way to do it. Like, there should be no reason whatsoever that you can't emulate the gate on your machine. Like, that's the thing. There's no magic here. It's just devstack with some configuration and Tempest test running against. So, like, if your goal is I want a working Ironic Inspector and you don't care about everything else, you just care about Inspector, because in this case, I can tell you, this is disabling Sender. So you're not going to have some of the boot from volume stuff. You know, you're just not going to have support for that. You know, it disables stuff that's going to make this not a good OpenStack install for general purpose, but very, very good specifically for the testing inspector. To create an API between inspector and Ironic. Can you explain a little more? I don't fully understand. Like, bring me in. Let me know what's your primary goal? Like, what's your end goal, and what are you gunning for? I'm just curious. This is yeah, I'm very glad you stopped by, and you know, if you got something out of it, then maybe that's encouragement to have more of these. But after we're done, I'm probably going to shut down for a little bit. Been on for about an hour, and I need to go rest my eyes. But if you want to, feel free to clue me into what you're doing at the high level. Well, Well, what is it though? Like, tell me in detail. Like, give me the elevator pitch. Like, what's your end goal? Because like one of the topics on the PTG is getting rid of the inspector as a separate package. So like I think the goal is going to be that we're going to wrap inspector into ironic. Because originally inspector was created as a separate service because like pretty early in the days of ironic and we weren't sure we wanted the scope yet. So like once it picked up, it got popular. Like a lot of people love inspector. Inspector's great. Oh, first step in order to get rid of it. Good. Yes. Team kill the inspector. The inspector's great. We need to bring him back home. He needs to be an open stat. He needs to be an ironic employee instead of an ironic contractor. Get him into the service. There we go. But thanks for stopping by, Jacob. I'm gonna head out. If there's ever anything I can do for you, you know where to find me on IRC. And if anyone else has been lurking, thanks for lurking. I appreciate it. You create an API to get the inventory to ironic. Oh, that makes sense. So you're going to build the equivalent on the ironic side of the so okay. That makes a lot of sense then. So you're more like building a new API into ironic, and then you're going to have to make inspector a client for that API. That kind of makes sense. Like I can kind of see how that is a milestone on the path to getting rid of the inspector. But I'm honestly not that big of an inspector expert. When I ran OpenStack Clouds, we didn't use inspector, so it's just not something I'm super familiar with, but it's certainly something that I appreciate the features of. But thanks for stopping by. That'll be exciting. Hey, all right, if you're please do check up on the PTG schedule. We've got the inspector stuff up on the schedule. Oh man. The like I'll be real with you, Jacob. Like when I started in OpenStack back in 2014, I was a DevOps who was struggling very hard to get over the hurdle of op into dev because I didn't want to be on call and sort of at the beck and call of angry computers all day, which is what operations really is at times. And so I appreciated having folks around who would, mentor me and provide the help and stuff to get to where I've been there today. So like you keep around smart people like Dimitri and Julia, and you're going to be doing great. Don't worry. So good luck with your project. Like I said, if there's anything I can do to help you, just feel free to reach out. And maybe I'll see you next time I have one of these, probably next week sometime.